It's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Bang. And then we just gonna get into it just like that. And boom. What's up? Welcome back, goddammit, to another edition of Tell Me a Joke, the God Under Chasing the Dream. I'm your host of Maniacal, Menace, Kyle Smith. Say the whole thing like a pimp named Slickback. And today, man, I got the homie, the fresh one. I love this jacket that you came in. You out here doing your thing, man. Everybody, put y'all hands together for Preech. There it is. There it is. Clap it up.
People with my name. My name is Preechkid. You know, people
Preechkid.
Do you know?
I love
people call me like choir boy.
Right.
They'll be like, "Oh, choir boy," or they'll be like, "Pastor," and I'm like, "It's Preechkid," and they'll read it. I've had people read it at open mic.
Yeah.
They'll read Preechkid, and they'll say, "Single boy, choir boy," and I just be like, "All right, whatever you want to call me." I want to be like Donald Glover. I want to have like 15 names.
I love it. So where did Preechkid come from?
My daddy wanted me to be a pastor.
Yeah.
And I can't do that.
Right.
But I could do this.
Yes.
So I said I could take my ministry wherever I go.
Right.
So I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this poetry thing." Oh, they wanted me to do
Bring
this.
this a little bit closer to you.
Yeah. It was like they want me to do
There
this.
it is.
But I was like, I don't know. And then Preechkid just kind of popped to me.
Yeah.
And then it just stuck.
That's what's up. Like, because I remember my first time seeing you, I believe it was at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Where was
Day
that?
Six. I
yeah.
used to do an open mic at Day 6.
Oh, my God.
The
That was...
the Newstonian.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that is where I first met... that's where I first met Poet Pimp.
That's when I first met him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So that was your first experience as well. Crazy experience. That was a good time. But you stood out. You stood out to me when I first saw you. I was like, oh, this is a breath of fresh air, because when I was new to the scene, to the area, and I was always wondering, okay, like when I do get into these certain areas, like who's the person that will stand out, or like, am I coming to the wrong spots? Like, are they really about this, or
is it
it's just a facade. And then once you get there, it's like, oh no, they about this shit.
They out here
Okay,
doing poetry for real.
Yes. And so, how long have you been doing poetry for?
I've been doing poetry since I was in, I think, the 9th grade, like unofficially.
Yeah.
I've been doing it officially, like for real, getting paid for it for the past like 4 years.
What?
Like 4 or 5 years now. But
Yeah.
I've been writing since like the 9th grade.
Come on. So your pen has been taking you places.
Taking me, people paying me for it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know, it's so funny. People always used to like, people laugh at me because I sing when I do my poetry.
You do.
A lot of the time.
And that makes it very unique,
Yeah.
because that's what stood out when I first saw it. I was like, oh,
sing a lot.
head turning.
And I don't know. I just was like, oh, let me just kind of keep this going. I like how this sounded, so let me just write this. Oh, I want to talk about this, so let me just write about it, because nobody else is talking about it.
Right.
Like I feel like a lot of my topics are stuff that like a lot of people don't touch on.
Yeah.
But it's stuff that I'm dealing with as a person, so I know somebody wants to hear about it.
Yeah. Where does your inspiration come from?
I would say the music.
Yeah.
I think all of my poems, even if I don't sing with a poem, I'm sure it came from some, like I heard a song, or I wrote, like I was listening to something and it just kind of evoked something and I want to write a story about it.
Yeah. I've always wondered, how do you, because in my head, as a poet, I've been dealing with this more lately now. Like, how do you deal with being vulnerable?
I think it's easy for me.
Yeah.
Now, I was bullied in school a lot.
Yeah.
Kids, wasn't me, so I was very in tune with I knew how to cry. It was real good.
Come on.
I don't know. And
That's
I love
honest.
telling. I love telling. I'm a poet, of course, but I love telling stories. And so with me, as long as I know what the story is, and I'm an actor too. I love acting.
Yeah.
And so when I can't act or I can't be in a show or anything, my poem is the thing that kind of takes over that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just gotta keep on.
You gotta keep moving.
You feel it, and it really just makes me want to keep doing it. Every time I get in front of audiences, and I'll do a poem that I've been doing for the last 8 years, and somebody will come up to me with something different that they felt during it, and I'll be like, oh, okay, oh
Yeah.
cool. And it just makes me want to write more and discover more. I just like telling stories.
Yeah, that I get the satisfaction you get when you have somebody that actually relates to the piece that you've written and just like, you was listening. You was.
I'm not the only one.
Right.
Oh,
So you feel that.
You
Yeah.
did that too?
You hear with that? Okay. So I wasn't just writing this just for myself.
Yeah.
This is good.
And even if it is just for me, if anybody can take like from any situation, like in my I have a poetry album that I have, and I have like straight men who a lot of the topics is about me being a black gay man.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of straight men who come to me and they'll be like, I love that he's never satisfied. And I'm like, you love he's never satisfied?
Yeah.
What? And it was because they can still equate it to something in their life. And that's what makes me love art so much, because somebody who has like completely different upbringing from me, somebody who's in a different economic status than me, they can still hear what I'm talking about and still equate it to something in their life.
Yeah.
And I love it.
That's dope. That is a good way to look at it. Like when I've been, I want to write certain pieces whenever it comes to, but like usually whenever I do write, it's whatever I'm compelled whatever I'm compelled to feel at that time. Like I want to be specific because I do more comedy pieces than anything, and I prefer to keep it that way. But it ain't. Yeah, I can't just write, something silly. And it's usually whenever I do write, it's something that sparks in me, and I get the urge to write, but it's not nothing that I'm looking forward to writing at the time. Like I get excited when I do write it, but I try to stick to one genre, but it's like, something come in me like, hey, you need to get this out here. I
think my mama told me a long time ago, because when I first started writing poetry in high school, I was very black-centric.
Yeah.
And I remember my mama was like, because I was singing Wade in the Water with a lot of my poems.
Okay.
I was, right?
Okay.
And one time, and my mama was like, okay, baby. She's like, now this is nice. She's saying, it's good.
Yeah.
And I get it. And she was like, but don't you want to talk about something else?
Right.
And at first I was mad at her because I was like, no, I'm talking about my black power. I'm lifting up my people. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, actually, I do have other facets of myself that I want to explore. Actually, I do have other stories that I feel like need to be heard for real. So let me stop talking. Let me do. And so I wrote a love poem. And then I got heartbroken, and I was like, "Oh, it's a heartbreak forever." And I ain't wrote a love poem. I ain't wrote a love poem since 10th grade.
You know what's terrible? Every love poem that I have written, it ended up to where I'd never would. Like every poem that I've written for somebody that I thought I was gonna be with forever, I am no longer with that person.
And then you still do like when I write about people, because I write about my life.
Yeah.
So like if I'm saying and he picked that green hat up off the ground, and he gonna know he was talking about. Because he knows he got a green hat.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't gonna tell your name,
right,
but I'm gonna tell the story because I'm gonna be honest about it no matter what. Because my thing is, even if we can't, especially like if we can't talk about it with each other, you're gonna be real mad at me because it's gonna show up you're gonna hear it in a song, you're gonna see it in a movie that I wrote, you're gonna see it in a play, you're gonna see it somewhere. I'm gonna put it in there.
Definitely gotta get it.
I feel like I always have a poem called "Nobody Wants to Date a Poet." And I really just talk about like it's hard to date a poet because they're gonna find a way. I do. I ain't gonna lie.
I feel that.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to put it in there, and good or bad. But I feel like that's the best way to be. I feel like that's the best way to get the most honest work.
Yeah.
That's how you're gonna get people that actually follow your work and want to hear you. There are some poets when I know, like Black Blues. Like he's one of my mentors here in Houston. Whenever Black Blues get on stage, I know. Like, oh, he's about to, like, it's just, and I feel like every poet, if you're a poet, like, if you want to be that thing, I feel like everybody should show up just like that. Yeah. Like, I feel like you need to show up just like that. Like, as soon as you walking out, we already know you about to kill it. I was like, even if nobody heard you, especially around Houston, around, in these Houston open mics, if they don't know you, they ain't letting you up there.
Yeah.
If they don't know you, They ain't letting you up there. If they don't know you, they be like, who? I've been in so many open mics, like when I first started doing poetry in Houston. Man, I would be sitting there. They say the open mic start at 8. I show up at 6. I'm sitting there first in the line, and I got my name signed. And mind you, they going 5 people. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm next. 10 people, maybe I'm next. They say we got the last poet of the night, and my name ain't been called.
Yo, I don't go to I haven't gone to a certain place because of that reason.
Man.
Just because of that reason that you're talking about right now, which really irks my nerves, because this isn't, I thought it was just something that I ran into and I was like, nah, this ain't,
it's
nobody,
It's and it's so sad, it's sad because
feeling.
It makes, especially like say if I was a person who was just starting poetry for the first time.
Right.
If I was somebody who, this is my first time out, I've never done this before.
Exactly.
And I pick up all the courage to put my name on this piece of paper, and then y'all call up, especially I saw people, I ain't gonna name who the poet was. But I saw homeboy walk in and immediately walks right on stage. And I'm gagged because I was like, I got here at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, and I got some fire shit. Like, what are you doing? And so I remember I went back and I finally got on the stage. And mind you, after I performed, then everybody running up.
Everybody, who is you?
Right. Hey, we gotta get your number. We gotta get your information. And in my head, I'm like, fuck y'all. I ain't never coming back here ever again. I just wanted to go up there and show y'all, but I ended up on that. It's like I said, I love it so much to where I would do it right here with nobody else watching. If it was empty in here, I would still be doing it. Yeah. And not everybody has that same love for it, and I feel like you can tell when it comes out in the art.
Yeah, I definitely have. I have those pieces that I'm just sitting on waiting. It's itching in me to be like, oh man, I can't wait till people hear this. Like it feels as if like this was it wasn't meant for me. Even though I wrote it, like this was meant for other people to hear, and that's a great feeling to be able to have, that type of talent to be like, oh, this is gonna touch somebody.
It's gonna touch. Is that a little to hear it now? Because I feel like I'd be like that, but now to hear you say, I'm like, is that a little like? Just to be like somebody's gonna, but no, they are.
No,
they
it's
are.
definitely
because they are. Because no matter if the story is getting told, somebody will. Because nobody is like feeling something for the first time ever. Yeah. None of us are experiencing anything for the first time ever.
Right.
None of us are no matter how much you feel like you are by yourself and alone, you are not. I've written a poem about feet in college. They forced me to write a poem. I did a show about feet. I had to write a poem about feet. And do you know how? And somebody came up to me and was just like, oh my gosh, like I have the same exact feeling. Like, and I'm like, girl, tears in your eyes, girl, about feet? Like,
about feet.
I was like, girl, I know I did good, but damn, calm down.
Yeah.
Like, but it just goes to show, like, no matter what you're feeling, write it down. Yeah. Because you never know who else in the room needs to hear somebody say that. Yeah. Like, you never know who you're releasing when you talk about that. Right. Like, there are people who've done poems about their fathers that have, like, helped me with my issues with my father. Yeah. And they'll probably never know that. Like that's why I'm the kind of poet, you can ask all the poets in Houston, I'll be hitting everybody. I message everybody. I hit everybody up. I tell everybody how amazing they are because I know how it feels to have this like great body of work in your head and you put it out and don't nobody say nothing. Yeah. Or practice. You get to right about now on Wednesday and you sitting there and you give your piece and then nobody says anything or nobody comes after you. Nobody, because you get the big poet, it'd be big poets who everybody, the whole room is, running after them afterwards. Imagine a poet who is just sitting there. They did their best, but nobody's really running.
How long have you been in Houston for?
My whole life.
Your whole life. So you've grown up with the watching the wine poetry and
I genuinely did not start doing poetry until I got back from college. Yeah. Because when I was like 17, 18, I didn't know it was like this big poetry world happening. Yeah. I didn't know all of this. I didn't know we had poet laureates and like all of this stuff. And then after I got back from school, I was like, well, I need to find a way to still do my poetry thing. Yeah. And I started going out to different ones. And it's some pretty nice ones in Houston. Like I said, I really love the one at the coffee shop. That has been my all-time favorite. Because that was with Josiah with the Newstonian.
Mm-hmm.
It was so interesting because that was the first open mic I did where they allowed the audience to ask questions.
Yes, that was very intriguing.
Was so dope.
I did enjoy that.
It was so dope. It would be so cool because people were right, and then someone would ask, "Why would you say that?" And you could see like the poet light up because we never get people to ask us, you know.
You asked me something that night after a piece that I did. I do not remember what it was, but what you asked was something kind of out of the ordinary that I didn't expect to be asked, and I was like, "Huh." Oh, you really be about this shit? Like it really. I was like, because I was very excited once I knew that that's what it was going to be. Like, oh, people going to be asking questions and everything. Well, I can't wait to see what this person's going to say.
Yes.
Their outtakes on it, and you know, and I definitely come with something different. Like just like you come with something different when it comes to singing and having harmonies with your poetry, with your works. Like, how do you know when something's done?
When something is done, I feel like I know I'm done writing it and I know I'm done touching it when I am just tired of looking at the words.
Yeah.
Because I'm the kind of artist, I promise you, if I could show you my notes on my phone, I have a note for poetry. I have a folder for poetry. I have a folder for unfinished poetry. I have a folder for poetry that's finished but not really. I have a folder for finished poetry. And I'm especially even with memorization, I'm repeat it. I'm at it all the time. Yeah. And so when I finally get tired of the words, and I'll be like, okay, bitch, the story is done. It's done. I'm done. Because I'm not the person to, okay, I'm done with it. All right, let me go back to it. I know because I started memorizing it then. So I'm not trying to go back and redo. That's why I just hit it until I get tired of it. That's an old acting trick. You do it until you get tired of it, until your brain finally is just like, fine, all right.
We gonna have this here. Whenever you need it, it's here.
We gonna do it. Me and Blues we on God Slam. We're a slam team here in Houston, and we were practicing one of our duo pieces, and they made us do that duo piece probably like 52 times. Yeah. The first day that we were doing the duo piece together. Do you know we had that thing memorized by the 10th time? Because we were so mad that they get us do it over and over again. We had it memorized. And then now we pissed because we keep doing it, but now we have the entire thing memorized in the span of 10 minutes. A poem that we ain't even looked at. So I think there's something to just keep hitting it. That's just my actor training. That's how I've always approached poetry. But that's how I know when it's done. When I'm like, all right, I'm tired of these words. I have the story cemented by now. Bam.
That's a good way to look at it. I myself, I'm just writing a piece right now. Well, I thought it was done, and then I let other people see it. And I was like,
that could also be another one too. That could be another if you letting other people use.
And it was very helpful because it opened my perspective to a different look at it. Like outside, like I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, I've been so up close and personal with this piece that I can't tell what's a good outside perspective.
You gotta look at it from, what I do is, I take the same approach I do is to my Instagram. Yeah. Like sometimes I go through my Instagram like I'm a random person who just found Preechkid. And I don't know if everybody do it. I literally do. Yeah. Or I have my poetry album. Yeah. I'll listen to my album like I'm never listened to I don't know who Preechkid is. I turn that part of myself. I don't know if everybody could do that. Maybe I'm just amazing and cool. But I literally approach it just like even with my poetry, like I read it like I just read it for the first time. Yeah. And if I leave that situation feeling like this is solidified, this is done, then it's done. But I get outside of myself because we don't always have people to critique us, and I'll be the kind of person I don't like bringing my work out unless it is together.
Oh yeah, I definitely picked certain people that I sent this to just because I was like, oh, you
or other poets. I have about 5 poets that I'll literally send read this real quick for me. Yeah. How do you okay, gotcha.
Right. Yeah. I need the honest.
But I ask poets.
Perspective.
I specifically go to poets because I feel like you go to somebody who's doing the thing that you are doing.
That would understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
Because I mean, being a poet, the way we word things is not always going to be like, oh, well, you know, we ain't just going to say the sun is in the sky. We gonna describe how the sun is in that sky. You might not understand it if you're not on the same plateau as I am. So, definitely.
Giving it to a regular person sometimes will be like, they'll be like, oh, did you mean to say ain't? Because ain't isn't a word. And I'm like,
don't see, I need to have this flow.
Then it's a difference between speaking poetry and written poetry.
Right.
So it's like there are a whole bunch of, there's a lot of little caveats. That's why I always say being a poet is like work. Like people just be thinking you can get up and say the sky is blue, the clouds are white, and we just are so in love with the universe.
Be sitting there looking,
and
like,
people gonna be like, let me not say, let me not say.
You're doing a gimmick right now.
That is some people's poetry, and that's okay. And if your poetry is, let me tell you, if your poetry is the sky is blue and the clouds are white, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
I ain't knocking it.
But I do feel like they're so much deeper. I'm the kind of person, I hate surface level things. And if a poem is surface level, you can tell, and it'd be, because you can do the sky is blue and the clouds are white, but make it deep.
It's like I see certain people. I'm like, oh, you just wrote a poem. And you just wanted to recite. That's cool.
And you just wanted to recite.
That's cool. I don't mind that. That's nice. But understand, there's a whole world for this.
But it also goes to how you view poetry.
Right.
Some people view poetry as just a simple escape. So maybe their poems are the clouds are blue, the sky is blue, the clouds are white. But somebody who looks at poetry as, like I look at poetry as, this is what I'm doing with my life.
Yeah.
So I feel like it'll look a little bit differently than somebody who isn't on that path. I
can honestly say that back in the day, I had an outside perspective of poetry, just because I wasn't in the realm of what it is. And like, so when I would see it, I'm like, this is all right. Everybody's up here all sad shit. Like, I don't want, like, how
why don't you write happy poems?
Yeah,
happy poetry?
How you gonna have fun?
Happy poetry. I have fun up there. When I'm talking to, man, even if I'm talking about the most like gnarly, crazy thing that happened to me ever, I am having some, maybe it's just the actor in me, just because I love becoming another character. I love the whole idea of thinking of what this person eats, drinks, sleeps, what their story is. So I can be up there talking about the most gnarly, crazy thing, and in my head, I am like chilling. Like, I'm chilling. Like, Philip is chilling, kick back. While I'm performing, Philip is chilling, kick back, and Preechkid is up there doing all the work. And then I just show back up and say, yeah, it was cool. I love it. That was dope. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's how it worked. For me, you know?
Yeah, and my process is just like, I'm gonna go ahead and give you these words. I do like to feel as if I do have two type of personas, since I do comedy. I also do poetry as well, but combining the two, as being a Maniacal Menace houseman, I like to feel as if I got a T.I. versus T.I.P. situation.
Okay. It's hard though. Doing funny poetry, it's hard.
It is.
It's so easy to talk about.
Wrote something silly yet.
Because when you do it, it'd be like, oh, but when it's done right,
yes,
it is so like poet.
I
don't even think he be trying to be
I don't think he's trying to be funny.
But it is so good. Like, I think the first poem I heard by him, which is my favorite one, is his the Erykah Badu one that he does. Where you call on like the call on Tyrone. Man, that man is so funny. But the fact that he does that poem, I've watched him do it in like, a coffee shop. I watched him do it on a stage in front of like 100 people, and that's the thing. And he do it the same
way, and that is the thing.
He don't edit himself
at all.
They was gagged. He said it like 50 million, and if you know the poem,
if you know it, that's my first time meeting him. I believe he did that, and there was kids in this coffee
he don't
shop
care.
in the back. He did not give a shit at all. I was like, wow.
But he's so serious.
He definitely.
And that's what I love about. Like, I love serious.
He loves
serious
his poetry.
poets. Like I told you, I hit up a lot of different poets in Houston. When I hit up poets, I normally will hit you up. And I'll send you a stanza or something, and I'll just be like, "Hey, you think you can finish that? Oh, hey, I had this quick idea about something." I love. There's a lot of people who be like, "Oh yeah, I'm serious about poetry." And then I'll never hear nothing else. I'll be like, "All right,
yeah."
But it's sometimes where like you get people who are like, "Oh yeah," and they send me something back immediately. Like Black Blues, that's how me and him like really, like I really got to admire his artistry.
Yeah.
I sent him the first poem we wrote together. I sent him a blurb, and he sent back a whole little poem, and I was like, "Oh well, you ain't about to outdo me on the poem.
Right.
I just sent you." So I sent back another blurb, and he sent another one back, and then I was like, "Wait a minute," and we put it together. I was like, "Wait, do we have a poem?
We got a poem here, son."
I was like, "Do we have a poem?
We got a poem,
and then
son.
working with like doing duo, like working with other people, like there's so many different factors of like maybe our art is not gonna be digestible, maybe it ain't gonna mix well.
Yeah, that's
you never know.
I have I don't think I've ever worked with somebody to where I've done a dual poem.
Have you never been on a team?
No. I've tried out for a team. I almost made it. I didn't make it. I tried out for the Wine Poetry Slam team, and it was just off of because I had enough. Anyway, I was like, okay, it's cool, slam. I don't care to compete. I just want to recite. I just want to go show people what I got.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Slam poetry will take. If you don't, I genuinely feel like if you don't love it. Like I went to Southern Fried last year with God Slam. I met this girl who was there for a solo, a solo act. She said that was her like 5th year going.
Yeah.
And she travels by herself to that every year. And this year she said, "I'm giving y'all straight lyricism. I ain't giving y'all no substance this year. I'm giving y'all straight lyricism." And she got up there and tore that, man. She went up there and tore it, and it was so amazing. And she didn't win. And you know what her first thing she said was, "I'm coming back again next year."
Yeah.
That was so, like, I was like, that's so
inspirational
dope.
right there. Yeah.
Because I know what it feels like to lose, especially losing 5 times.
Come on.
But
Solo
to
acting.
get back up and to keep on coming, that's what I'm like, that's a real poet right there.
Yeah.
I can't even, mind you, I ain't gonna lie, she should have won that. I ain't gonna lie, Lady 380 ate that. Lady 380.
Shout out to Lady 380. I don't know if
she ate that. I ain't gonna lie.
On here.
Oh, Lady 380.
Oh, shout out.
She was up there too. She was performing. Oh my, they had all, who else was it? Like, it was just wild, like at Southern Fried. But what I just say that to say, like, if you serious about it, you like, no matter how many times people like don't laugh when you want them to laugh, or how many times people don't like talk at the parts that you want them to talk in, like, you won't care because it's serious for you. It's something that you want to be doing. Like, I would still go compete. I know it's hard to compete because if you don't get the first place and nobody's clapping for you at the end, it can sometimes feel like, why did I just waste my time doing this? Especially at open mic, like one slams where you have to pay to be in it. You'd be like, "Bitch, I just paid $5." It just like, you be like, damn. But if you love it, and mind you, I've done slams where I didn't win, and people still came up to me afterwards saying, "Oh my gosh, what's your social? Oh my gosh, I actually really love that you talked about this, blah, blah, blah." So I still won.
Right.
I mean, but did I go home mad that I didn't win? Yes. Did I go home like $5 poor? Probably.
Yeah, I think my first time performing at Juan, it was a slam night. And
at Rayyard?
At Juan.
At Juan.
It was a while back. So I was like, man, I don't want to be judged on my poem. And then I got judged, and I was like, I was like, oh, this is, because I did well, and I was like, oh, this is all right. But all right, this is cool.
And then, mind you, what I hate about slam is you could be amazing, and they just don't.
It's not your crowd.
It's not your crowd.
Because, oh my goodness, this is the problem that when we had the show Juan's YNs versus OGs and such, like, there was a late shout out to Lady 380 again because she cleaned it up and she was like, boom. I mean, because it was 18. It was 9 verse 9. Oh. And I was on the old niggas and that's what it was. Young niggas, old niggas. That's I'm 40, so I'm like, all right, that's what it is. 32 and up. We on the OGs. So and she cleaned it up at the end, but we was realizing that it was old traditional poetry, which is black and sad. Black and sad wins tonight. Until something silly comes and pops the room. And then it's like,
you just came and gave them something so fresh and so different.
Yes, and that's in the realm of a slam like that. Especially when the room is so one-sided with this is what we want to hear. Because I've done slams at Rudyard now, and like in that small time of space to where people are like, well, if it ain't this, then I don't give a fuck about what it is.
I ain't worried about what you're talking about.
So like I've had those feelings to where I'm like, oh, I have to switch this up if I do want to go into the next round. I gotta switch this up.
I can't talk about this because I need to switch.
Right.
Mind you know what? I have messed one of the last slams I did. It was in Killeen, and I feel like I messed myself up because I was like, ooh, they don't want to hear that gay shit. I was like, oh, they don't want to hear that gay shit. I was like, they don't want to hear it. And so I chose to do a different poem. Yeah. I deviated from my script. And oh my God. I ended up placing like 4th. Oh. And I was so mad because, and I wasn't mad about I know I did a good performance, but I was upset because I knew I went there with a plan. My pieces made sense in the order that I had them in. And if I would have just trusted myself,
that deviation.
If I would have just trusted myself, if I would have just said, you know what,
you
bitch,
trust that instinct.
I don't care if they, because I was looking in the crowd and I said, oh, it's older black women here. Okay. Oh, it's Tim Tweens
I've
in
learned
here.
this lesson so many times.
I'm like, oh my God. Okay, but you never know. So, and I honestly feel like if I went up there and did the poem that I wanted to do, I could have won. But I will say I still walked away feeling all right because there were a lot of seasoned poets in there that I used to watch when I was like 15. Yeah. And I beat them. It was actually one point, I'm not gonna lie, it's a poet that I went against when I was in college. I ain't gonna say his name. But I went against him when I was in college and he whooped my ass. But that next one, that next slam, when I went with him,
my get back. Thank you. Thank you.
I was so happy.
Give me that.
But it made me happy to think that like now I'm at the level, and I think that's the day I realized I'm at the same level as people I was watching when I was 15. Because they were doing the same thing. They're going to Southern Fried. Yeah. They're joining a team. They're performing at all of these. So now I'm on that level, and that made me feel really cool. Like Ebony Stewart told me she loves my poetry. Excuse me? Ebony I love she's one of the reasons why I did my one-man show, why I wrote a whole one-man show. I was like, I can't find no way I'm gonna do a one-man show like Ebony did. And so for her to now be at this age, and I remember watching her when I was like and still in high school, like watching her videos, memorizing her poems. Like woman does not emerge from man's ribs. I don't.
It's so hard for me to fathom that because you're not the first person that has said like I've been watching this since high school. I'm like, wait, like my wife has showed me this guy Miles, I believe. He was on HBO and he doesn't do poetry anymore, but it's been out there for so long, and I'm like, yo, you've been, and she's like, yeah, I've watched him grow up on, and do this, and I'm like, you've watched this like this, and to me, it seems like poetry is still on the like ground level, and it hasn't taken. But it has been. But
it depends.
It depends
on who you are. Like one of the first poets I ever saw when I was in high school was Terriana Tank Ball, which is also Tank from Tank and the Bangers.
Tank and the Bangers.
She was one of the first poets I had witnessed do like a poem.
Shout out to Tank.
And that was on YouTube randomly. It was on YouTube. I think I was looking for a poem for my speech and debate class, and I found her doing her piece. And I was just so gagged with what she was up there doing, and she was singing, and she gave this raw like performance, and I was just gagged. And so I started. Was like, oh, I'm about to learn everything I can about her. Oh my gosh, oh my, this is so. I watched all of her videos. That's what made me start writing.
So that's so amazing.
And this year, I got to actually meet her was so dope. I do, and she has one of her poems called Impossible that I've done before. So I got to show her the video of me doing Impossible, and she loved it. And we just got to talk, and it was just so cool to actually be in the same room as one of the first poets that like just introduced me to poetry and showed me how to actually perform. Like the reason I do what I do is because the way she made me feel when I watched her video. I want to make everybody feel that way when they watch my stuff.
I don't, it doesn't fathom to me that I have been around like so much of greatness like this. The way you talk about Tank is the way I'm like, oh yeah, she used to come to our jam sessions down in New Orleans. And I'm like, what? And like, I have a story that when I run into her again, I need to tell her about, because there was some shit where she was at a jam session one night, and I performed at that, doing comedy at the time. I was also doing comedy poetry, but it was still new. So I was doing my thing, new. But she was sitting down on one of the benches, on one of the sofas out there, and it's really dark in this, like at the jam session. You got motherfuckers on the keys and shit playing in this only well-lit area. And so as I'm going by, I'm going outside. Everybody go smoke and shit. So I'm getting ready. And she's sitting there, and I go to step over because I know, I can't see, but I know that there's like a foot of ottoman right here. I know there's one, but I don't know exactly where it's at because I can't really see. So I go to step over, but it's long ways instead of wide like that. And so what I'm thinking, I'm stepping over, I can't. And because so yeah. And so I step on it, I fold, and I fold and I tuck and roll, and then I realize that I'm falling off, and she's sitting right next to me, son. She's sitting right next to me, and I'm like, oh, hold on. And so as I fall, I keep falling. I fall all the way to the floor. I tumble roll. Yeah, jam session, everything going on. Like there's shit happening. People are around me, and she's the only one witnessing me going through shit hilarious. Right now. And I fall.
I wonder if she remembers that.
I don't know, but she might remember because she came up to me and she was like, yo, did you just fall?
I love that lady. So, man, when I tell you, when you want to talk about just like if you want to learn how, like if you have never like been into poetry like that, if you just want to get a crash course in how to affect people, how to write just bomb ass work, how to just like get the crowd moving, literally watch Terry on the Tank Ball from Tank of the Bangers.
Definitely check out.
When I tell you.
Oh, she was
she just won the Grammy for best poetry spoken word album.
Get out of here.
Literally, she just won the Grammy for best poetry spoken word album.
That's
when
amazing.
I tell you, and she's been doing this for years, but that's like one. Like, it was just so cool to be able to like say, "Hey, this is not that far away. This poetry has gotten her here."
Right.
Like, imagine like. Her writing poems in her notebook brought her to winning a Grammy, and now you're touring the whole world. Man. That's why I say poetry is so powerful. Like, you will never understand where, like, I got flown out last year, my first time ever being flown out to perform. Yeah. I was geeked. They flew me to New Orleans, and they were like, hey, we want you to do a poem at this event. And they flew for me out there, paid for me a hotel, gave me my stipend, like all this. And I was just like, wait, poetry did this? I was like, bitch, I've been working at all of these jobs and ain't got none of this. Like, I'm doing the thing that I want to do. Son. Like, people are, I said they flew me out. Like, I took a plane, baby, and I ain't had to pay for nothing. They was like, oh yeah, it's already paid. Here's your thing. And I was just walking around like, and then it was time for me to perform. It was tough for me to perform because, mind you, I don't eat or drink or like doing it if I have to perform. Yeah, I don't smoke. I don't do none of that. I was like, because I like to be present there. Right, man. I got up there and did that performance, and my job was in New Orleans. Right after I was done, and people was clapping and all of that, I ran straight to the bar. I said, "Give me 2 double shots of whatever brown you got." And I got tore up. But mind you, that was another stage where I got to share with someone who I've been, my Kia Siobhan, she's a singer in New Orleans. I've been listening to her for years. I got to share the same stage as her. Like last year, I lost my job. I did a whole bunch of crazy stuff happened to me last year, but creatively, I was able to like succeed so much. Like I think I really just woke up to the point where I was like, I'm doing what I wanted to do. I'm no longer saying, oh, I want to be a poet. I'm no longer saying, oh, I want to get booked for something. I'm no longer saying, oh, I want to do. I'm actually doing it.
Yeah.
And I think if more people would just be like honest about what's going on around them, you would realize how much good was happening. Because like I told you, I lost my job. Dealing with evictions, dealing with money problems, dealing with all of this, and I'm feeling like my world is crashing. But also someone's like, hey, Preech Kid, do you want to come to New Orleans and we'll fly you out and you can come perform here? Hey, Preech Kid, I'm like one of your fucking idols that you've looked up to for your whole fucking life. I think you are amazing and I think you're great. Like I was getting stuff like that, so I always laugh and say Philip was having a hard time last year, but Preech Kid was just on the rise. Preech Kid was winning. So I'm like, man, it's just so it's not, man. When I tell you, just man. Even when it looks, and mind you, if you look at my life from I feel like on the outside, it looked like, oh, he's having a terrible time. But like poetry has been keeping me afloat. That was paying me last year. Yeah. That's what I was getting booked to do, like little gigs here and there. That's what was paying me. I was applying to jobs. Like I have a degree. I got all this stuff. I'm applying all these jobs and not hearing back from anybody. Like nobody. Poetry is what was paying me. So for me to be 15 years old, writing down in my notebook, I love you and you hate me. I try to care for you and you degrade me. Versus now, people paying me to do the thing.
Versus going to a show, not getting put on. To now getting flown out to New Orleans. Boom, take that. And now I hope this motherfucker watching too, because it probably is. Take that. No titty, nigga.
You know, it'd be like that. Not everybody can see your greatness. Yeah. That's why I feel like as long as you see it and as long as you feel it, you're good. Like I know, like I mean,
I do feel it. It's so strange.
Everything don't be going too right with me all the time. Feeling. But I know, bitch, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm gonna be all right.
It's
you know
a fun
me.
feeling.
My name gonna be somewhere.
It is.
They told me in first grade my name was gonna be in lights.
Every time I think about it, I'm like, do I say preach kid, preach, write, sing?
Preach,
what do
write,
I do?
sing.
What do I?
Preach,
you know
choir
what?
boy,
Let's just say the first thing. Just say preach, because there's so much. He does everything. He does more than just one. How do you put it? An entrepreneur out here hustling.
All of it.
And this is exactly
plays,
this is what
movies.
this podcast is about. It's like me trying to make it and talking to people that are actually doing out here making it, son. Like off that
mind you, it ain't even nothing too big yet. When I tell you, just wait until it really gets like, man. When it's climbing, and I'm so thankful. Like I said, it's been a lot of things that have been wrong or went bad, but I'm so thankful to be able to still like open my mouth up and allow, like, have people want to hear what I have to say. Like I just performed at the Alley Theater a couple weeks ago. I've been an actor forever. I've always wanted to perform at the Alley Theater, and I got to the Alley Theater for poetry, not even for acting. Now, mind you, when I was up there, I did some Broadway songs, of course. If you know me, to know me and to think I'm gonna go into a theater and not sing like Sweeney Todd or Dreamgirls or something, you crazy. I'm doing that. But poetry is what got me there. So it just feels like, man, you could say what you want. I hear so many people down poets and down poetry and think it's a waste of time, or thinking like, you know, it's not gonna get you anywhere. Yeah. Let me just go get this job. Let me go get this job because this poems ain't getting me nowhere. Bitch, they will.
I know for a fact that there's this guy out there that I follow. There's a Black Chakra is one of them. Obi West. Obi West. When I first met him, I met him at a wedding that people were having. That another poet friend of mine, he was having. Boom, we came to his wedding. He brought out people to go ahead and recite poetry, and then he brought out Obi West to go ahead and be his officiate to go ahead and do the sermon for him. And this guy is a poet that is beyond what I could imagine. Okay, people stand out to me like you. Certain people stand out to where it's like, oh, this breaks the mold of what I thought. Yes, this is a different level. You know, like I thought the bar stopped here, but
really,
the levels. Yes.
Now it's just been moved, and that's what's so good about the poetry.
Yes.
It just keeps it forces you to evolve. Like you don't hear Lady 380. I just saw Lady 380 post like a little bit ago. She was saying she had like 10 new poems or something like that. Like you just don't stop. You just keep it going, and I think it's really cool. And I admire the poets who keep going. There are some poets who I know who have done like the same one poem for the past like 15 years. Yeah. Which is nothing wrong with that, and that's cool. But
it's a comic. I'm like,
for me being a poet and knowing how hard it is to keep creating and keep putting it out, but you choose to still do it.
I can't help it. My pen just keeps writing. Yeah, I can't help it.
And I love that. Like I love when people do that. It makes me sad to think the only poems I will be able to perform are the ones that I have written already. And I love my poetry. I love Sunday charade. People love. I love Sunday charade. And mind you, when sometimes I get booked, they be like, "Oh, can you do?" And I'll be
it's like a banger.
I'll be like, "Damn, I don't want to do that one." But fine, all right, you paying me.
Oh, that's what's up, son.
But I got this new piece
like
I was
music
writing.
catalog.
It's about this. I'll be like, it's about this lion who, and they be like, "Oh, that's cute." But can you give us
we want to hear this one.
But we want to hear Sunday charade.
Yeah.
We want to hear you talk about the black boy in the church and he kissing the black boy. We want to hear that one, which is cool, and I love it, and I'll do it to the cows come home. But I just don't see me stopping. I don't see me just like sticking to one topic. Like I said, that conversation with my mama was like, pick something else. And because mind you, nobody ever wants to. I would never want to be labeled as, oh, that's the poet that's gonna come up here talking about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But also, I do want you to think when he goes up there, he's going to talk about. He's gonna talk about something. Like a lot of my poetry is about being black, a black gay man in America. And you don't see that a lot. I do it because I want to talk about our stuff. I've written plays that talk about our experiences. I've written songs that talk about our experience. I have wrote a TV show. Well, I'm writing a TV show.
Come on,
about our experience.
Yes, sir.
Because I just feel like stories need to be told. Like I always say, I'm a poet. I really just love stories. I love that people get to identify, because I feel like everybody deserves, like being somebody who was bullied, being somebody who was othered and ousted. I know how it feels to be standing on the outside of the window in the rain, like while everybody else is in the house.
I've always been small, so
it's like, why not? Like, so those stories for those people who are made to stand outside do deserve to get told. Because mind you, my bullying story, somebody else probably has the same exact. They used to call me Mr. Brown. Oh my gosh, they used to call me Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown from Tyler Perry.
So I was an attendance aide, and I had to walk into a room one time in high school, and I had to give the note. And they was like, "Oh, there go Mr. Brown," and the whole class just laughed.
Front the whole class.
Laughing the whole class. And I was just sitting there gagged because I was like, but mind you, back, shoulders back, head high.
You got me.
And I'm walking straight on through, and I got in their hallway and cried my little ass off. I was so sad, but I was just like, bitch, fuck y'all. I was like, man, forget y'all. And then the talent show came around, and I did a poem, and that was like one of the first times I performed. I did that poem, and they was clapping for me. I said, oh, fuck y'all.
Right.
Fuck y'all. I said, forget y'all. Y'all gonna be working.
I love that.
I said, y'all gonna be working for me, even if y'all don't, bitch, y'all gonna be buying tickets.
Eventually,
because even if you don't want to see me, bitch, your kids gonna want to come to my concert.
You saw what this was. I'm gonna definitely be up there. You mad that you can't do this? I love it.
You ain't gotta call me that. Calling me. I got called Shrek one time, and bitch, I wasn't even that big.
Damn.
They called me Shrek.
Oh, I got
jealous.
I got, because me and my brother look alike, and they say that I'm Little Mario before he get the mushroom. And that one was deep right there. I was like, oh, that's. That,
and they be
was
knowing
so quick.
exactly
it's so
but
quick.
Mind you know what? I would not take any of that back, because you know what's so funny?
Don't give it to me.
All of that.
Yeah.
All
that feeds
of
it.
that. I promise you, it's in a poem of mine. It's in a scene that I wrote. It's in a song. That all of that has shaped the art that I have. So honestly,
you've molded me.
Yeah, it molded me. I mean, not to say like it was all easy and
I went through hard shit.
It wasn't easy. I was crying and I was very sad.
Yeah,
and it hurt. But I actually wrote that sad and that, instead of letting that sad and that hurt sit right here.
Yeah, get it out.
I
definitely had to get it out.
And then you go in front of people and you sweat and you scream. and you just feel better.
Right.
And you don't have to go pay for $2,000 therapy.
No.
You can just tell strangers.
Fun thing is, Obi West, he has a residency in Las Vegas, and I was like,
come on, poet with a residency.
what?
How do you get that? Who do I call?
Right.
Obi West, you need to open an app.
What are we doing? How and you see it when you see him, like he said, he did this poem that it was meant for women. I get it. I understood that. But I was like, I had to change my drawers afterwards. I was like, no, you didn't get me wet, sir. No, you didn't. Yes, you did, but hold on. I was like, he turned into Denzel up there for a minute. I was like, nigga, I didn't even bring an extra pair. Like, what are we doing in here, son? The poem was powerful. It was powerful. I don't know where I was at, but I was like, nigga, I need to check my brassiere or some shit.
Residency in Vegas? That's some dope shit.
Right.
As a poet?
As a son.
Man.
And it blew my, and I was like, oh, I get it. Okay, so as long as I'm doing what I do, as long as I do stand out at what I do, like it's a possibility that these are the places that I could be. Like you are a living testament of this.
And it's, man, what gets me though sometimes is because a lot of the times it's hard for me to live in the moment. A lot of the times it's hard for me to be like, okay, this is where we at right now. Yeah. I don't think about it until later on. And so recently I've really been trying to like force myself to look at the stuff for real. And I was like, I've met this person who I've loved forever. They just looked me in my eyes and hugged me and told me I was amazing. You know, Timothy Dwight, goes by Ugba now, is a poet in New York City, knows me and loves my art. That's somebody who I have adored. Like, those things matter. Yeah. Like, when I think about that 15-year-old boy who was Googling poetry slam videos on YouTube, and to think that now potentially my videos are, not even potentially, now my videos are on YouTube, and people can go and watch my video on you just like I was that 15-year-old boy watching somebody else's. I hope and pray somebody is doing the same with my art, and it's forcing them to like assess everything in them and write it down, and then they put their videos up and it just keeps going and going. That's what I want. So what that feeling that I got when I will watch these people, I want to give that same feeling to somebody else. That's just what's in my heart. Like, I love when people tell me I did great. I love when people fawn over me. I love the money. We love the money. We love the money. Honesty. We love the money. Honesty. But I just love affecting people. Yeah. I love making people leave different than what you were. Yeah. I've had people come up to me and say, dang, I wish I knew somebody like you when I was younger, talking about being gay. Because it was like I was very ignorant when I was younger about black gay men. I wish I would have heard this poem back then. I probably wouldn't have acted the way I did. Because if you heard this poem, because the poem I'm telling you, I'm just telling you about a black boy who likes to kiss other black boys, but also he's still just a human, just like you are. And to some people, that's like a far off thought. And so I love the fact that somebody could hear that poem and say, oh my gosh, they actually are just like me. Yeah, we are just like you. Crazy, right? Yeah. But it's so cool that I can use poetry as that. And that's why I say, like, when Preechkid and I can take my ministry wherever, I just feel like whatever message I have, I can take it anywhere. And that's why I just love the name Preechkid. I just love it. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting older, so maybe I'll drop the kid later on. Who knows? But I just love it.
I mean, because kid can be used as that universal hip hop terminology.
I'm kid at heart.
Yeah, but you know, every time you hear, like, whenever you are on stage, it's like, preach, kid, go on, preach, kid. So regardless of however old you may get or not, man, that shit's gonna stick.
You know, when they say the Grammy goes to, now I might want it to say Philip Burden. Okay. I might want it to say my name. You know, when they say the Grammy goes to, you know. Hey, but it might go to Preechkid. Who knows? I don't know.
Hey, I mean, Fight Club, you ain't no Tyler Durden until, you know, we don't talk about Fight Club first rule. So, shit, once Tyler Durden gets seen, you be like, oh, man, that was you doing that? Yeah.
I want to be like Donald Glover. I really want to have, like, you know how he has, like, 50, like, when I act, I want to be called, like,
so many personas.
P. Anthony. When I sing, I want to be called this. When I do poetry, I want Preechkid. Like, and when I write, I want it to be directed by, and they don't even know what fucking name to put on that bitch, because I just love the whole idea.
So many monikers.
You know, I love it, and I love the fact that you say each one, and each one is different in their own right. Preechkid is different from Philip. but they're all the same at the same time.
Yeah.
But I mean, Preechkid do more of the lifting.
The imagery that you give when you was like, yeah, Philip just sitting back. Preechkid is up right here
when
right
I'm
now.
performing, that's the best. That's the
Come
best
on.
way I can describe whenever I get on a stage, and it's been like that since I was young, since I was like 15.
Yeah.
I literally kick
The
my
snap.
feet up in my head as soon as I do my bow, and I go up and start.
Oh,
I'm kicked up, and Preechkid is out doing the work.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting back like, oh, okay, you think you're going to do it like this? Okay, well, this girl back here is smiling at this part, so say this next part a little bit loud. And I'm I give my notes, but Preechkid just kind of takes care of the whole thing.
I don't know how many people can relate and feel that, because people that aren't entertainers, like it's the normal people, they will never understand the feeling that it is.
Because you would think, oh, you just go up there and just,
no,
it's like
man, it's a
whole
mode I get
and mind
into.
you, if I mess up, that's when Philip got to kick, I be
like,
kicked back. He got to sit up and say,
like,
okay,
hey,
bitch, wait a minute. And I got to find the lyrics real quick in my head. And so it's this whole monologue, like on Inside Out?
Yeah.
It's like this whole thing going on in my head, trying to get this poem together. Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
that's funny. That's the first time me thinking about it, saying that out loud.
Yeah.
But that's exactly
your alter ego's in there. Yeah, you definitely put him in the back, but I mean, hold on, sit down, son. Let me do me.
But he can come out at any time.
Anytime. Yeah.
But as soon as it's over, Preechkid very much so. And that's how I know I did good. If I perform and I can still stand up and move around and run a mile, I didn't give my all. If I perform and I can't breathe afterwards, and I'm just feel I just feel like that's how I know I gave it my entire performance. And that's the difference between just reciting poetry and also like delivering poetry. There's a big difference, because you go up there and you see, like, it's one thing to, when you tell somebody, oh, you just reciting your poems. That's nice. That's not, you just reading your words off the paper. But then when it is fine. If that's how you feel like getting your emotions out, cool. But when somebody actually come and delivers poetry, it is a difference. Like, that person becomes a totally different entity. Like, they're the phoenix rising from the ashes. And you can tell the difference.
Yes.
Baby, you can tell the difference.
You can feel the energy shift in the room.
You can feel it when some poets, one of my favorite things that I love is, and now I can accept it. I couldn't accept it when I was younger. Now I can. If I show up to an open mic and somebody says, "Oh, are you performing today?"
Yeah.
And I say, "Yeah," and like the look on their face, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, yes." I love that feeling.
That's a good
because
feeling.
That means because I realize they trust me.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm just the most amazing poet out there.
No. But that's what tells you that you are.
But I feel like I've given a good enough performance that they trust me enough to know Preechkid is gonna go up there and I can relax. Because sometimes when you're watching like poets who aren't doing the best, you can't relax as an audience member. There are some poets, as soon as they walk, like when Lady 380 walk on stage, I know I can relax.
It's like an anime character now. It's like a boss level anime character that enters the room. It's like, where did power come from?
I can relax.
Hold on, who is that?
When Black Blues is on stage, I know I can relax because they about to take me. When Miss Marie is on, like there are so many poets.
That is a hell of a feeling.
As soon as they walk up, you be like, I can sit back.
Yeah.
But can I stand on stage?
Oh, come on.
You definitely know. Because I know you're gonna take me on a journey, and I don't need to do anything. There are some people, and mind you, it's just the level of how many years you've been doing this. It's a level to it. Levels to it, and not everybody's gonna be like that.
Right.
But I think the more you do it, and the more you see other people do it. I was sitting watching poets walk in and just own the stage completely, and I wasn't doing that when I first started poetry. I was like, oh, I need to walk out like knowing. When a poet walks on stage and they know they have it together, there's a different air about the poem.
Yeah.
Like I said, you could sit back and you could relax, and I always want my audience to relax. I don't care what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm talking about my father's funeral. I want you to be relaxed. But it comes with them knowing that, okay, we can trust you to go up there. We've seen that you can go up there.
I got this.
I do this.
Yeah.
I be doing, and mind you, tell yourself you do this.
Yeah.
I know it'd be hard.
Affirmations.
I know sometimes you don't be wanting to pop it. Like I don't be wanting to pop it all the time. I don't. But tell yourself you got this.
That's what the collar is there for. Pop that shit.
That's why you do the practice. I think so many people will say, "Oh, you so talented," or so many people will say, "Oh, you so this and that," but you don't know. I was up
that I have to go
2
through
in the morning, talking to a wall and my boyfriend is pissed because he can't
Same
sleep
shit over and over again.
because he keeps hearing me recite this. My mama, when I was younger, she used to be so mad. I'll be up at 3 in the morning, walking the halls, memorizing poems that I'm writing, like preparing for my debate, like one of my debates that I was doing. Like it's a art to it, and you have to work it. Practice. Nobody ever just walks on stage and is amazing. Nobody. Like, you have to practice, and the more you practice that muscle, the better you will get. Every time people ask me, like some people who want to write with me, or somebody who wants to ask like my opinion about something, I really just keep doing it. Like, literally. And I know that sounds real cliche and so annoying, but
there's nothing else to say.
There's nothing else to say, because mind you,
stop.
I could write a poem and I could perform it today, and it might not be the greatest. Give me till next week, it might be a little bit better. Yeah, I've been performing this. There are poems I performed for 7 years that I still do. And sometimes you just think like people be like, well, how can you still talk about that? You know, you wrote this 50 million years ago. In the poem. And then I'm an actor. I love I love opening that scab up. Yeah. And I used to always say I never close my wounds fully, so I always have access to them for the poetry. That's not healthy, so don't do that. But therapy. Now I say I let them close, but I remember where they are. So I let the wound close, but I remember where the wound is. That way, when it's time for me to get up there and do Sunday charades, okay,
I can go back to that same feeling.
That one is, that scab is right here. I can pop it open real quick. And now, mind you, not everybody could do that. Don't go out there saying Preechkid told me to keep to relive my traumatic past so I can do this poem, so I can get this 10. Don't do that. Baby, if you can't handle it, don't open that box. But thankfully, I've had the actor training to be able to jump into it and then jump out. But it all goes back to training.
Don't take it with you when you leave.
All of those years, I thought I was just doing
leave
stuff.
It on the stage.
Like all of that stuff, I thought I was just doing whatever. I was actually training, learning all of these different things to act. And mind you, if you're an actor, I feel like you can very much so cross over into poetry.
have this piece that, as I'm working on the memorization is one thing when it comes to me. But it's the motions and emotions that I'm working on now. Like, I have the memorization down.
Now you have to
now I need to give
but
the
that's
feeling
another
in the
thing
background to it.
I think also that's another thing with performing live. It's called ephemeral art. Like I learned in college, it's ephemeral art. Like it's here one day, it's gone the next. Like it's something about performing live, and that's how you figure out, okay, this emotion, I need to be angrier during this piece, or like I need to be more subdued during this piece. It just goes with just performing. Because mind you, I have poems that like the meaning has probably shifted, or maybe the way I say this one word has shifted. I don't think I ever do the poem the same way. I don't think I really do. I feel like each time, because I go based off of the audience. Since I come from an acting background, I go based off of like the audience. Like if y'all feeling this one little thing, okay, let me get a little bit louder because that's what they need me to be. Or it's a little bit subdued. This poem should be a little more taken in, so let me take it. But that all goes based off of you working and figuring out what is gonna work for you.
Come on, hell yeah, man. This is, man, see, man, people always wonder where we was going with y'all. I love that. Yeah. That's what we need. I needed all that. Like, cause that brings you, cause this is a person that is getting somewhere, and you see why. You see why you're getting places. It's like, because the math that you have behind this is mathing completely.
But it's the thing, like you have to, and that's what you said earlier. It goes back to, are you just doing this because you're just doing it, or are you doing this because this is what you want to be doing? Those are two different things. Yeah. Like if you want to be doing this, you need to be Ebony Stewart level. Yeah. Tank level. Like,
it's serious over here.
Serious. Yes. Like, you have to be serious about it. And I've worked with poets who are just not serious, and that's just not, for me, it's not fun because I know how I am, and it's gonna make me feel annoyed, or it's gonna make me feel like I'm overworking if you're not giving the same. Like I have duos with a couple of different poets, and mind you, like the best thing to do with a duo is I come with my stuff, you come with your stuff, and we put it together. I've had duos where I'm literally coming with everything, and then the other person just kind of shows up to just talk, and I'm like, Okay?
Okay.
Like, how are we gonna give a good performance if
Yeah.
you're not even, you know?
I need you to feel this.
Like, I
with
need
me.
you to feel it. That's
Right.
why I write my duo. Like, if I'm with another poet, I write them together with that poet.
Yeah.
I give you a stanza, you give me a stanza. Let's blend it to see how it's gonna fit. You know what it's gonna do.
Oh, that's a good. See, I never thought like, what is a good way to go about actually doing dual poems and duet poems and such? Because I've never done one, but I've been asked many times. It's like, well, all right, this is the concept that I would have. It's like people always want to do something silly with me, so I'm like, okay, we can do this or we can do that. But my caliber of silly compared to somebody else's, it might not match up.
That's why
And
you
it's
always
like,
think about. I just always approach it like, this is what I want to talk about. Do you have any connection to this? Yes. Okay, cool. What's your connection to this? Okay, this is my connection. So I'm gonna write about it from this perspective. Okay, I'm gonna write about it from this perspective, and then we bring both of our perspectives in. And if we're both approaching it the same way, we'll find a way to meld. You can find a way to meld anything together.
Yeah.
I was a Glee kid when I was younger. I love Glee. Glee told me like you can combine you can mix any songs together. You can mix anything together and make some really, really beautiful art. Like like I said, I keep talking about Black Blues, but that's who I wrote the duo poem with. Our different writing styles are so different, but when it came together, it was like so beautiful, and it just made me feel so good to know that I was working with somebody who was actually serious and who wanted to do it with me. You know? Because it's all about, because it'd be people who don't want to do it, and they'll be like, oh yeah, let's do it, and you obviously know you don't want it. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. You're not gonna, because if I'm reaching out to you, I'm reaching out to you because I saw something that I really enjoyed that you did, and I think maybe we can create something cool together. I'm one of them poets. I love everybody. I will get on the stage with anybody, and just because I love to do this. So, but I also realize not everybody is like that. And so it'd be a couple poets in Houston. I'm sure they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Preechkid, he sent me something, but I ain't want. Why he keep just tell me you good, and I'll back off." Yeah. But I'm just if it looks like you're serious about it, and I'm serious about it, why wouldn't we connect or collab? Or even if we don't perform together, why can't I be a part of your poetry tribe that you send stuff to? Why can't you be a part of my poetry tribe that I send stuff to? I just think there are a lot of poets who like to gatekeep, which is wild to me.
That's a whole nother section.
That's a whole nother segment.
Oh my goodness, because
they love the gatekeep, baby. They love it.
I have been going down a rabbit hole of that, and I was like, I didn't know it was like this out here.
I didn't know where to go. They didn't tell me where to go. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to. I didn't know why I hate gatekeep. Because I feel like it's for everybody
out here.
But mind you, it is for everybody. Like if you want to talk. I feel like you should.
If you're serious about it, there's no need to gatekeep because it's a small scene. Let's build it. Like definitely.
And mind you, I love it, man. I love on every poet because I know how hard it is to get up there and do poetry first and foremost. But if I really vibe with what you're saying, I'm going to try to work with you. That's just me. I feel like other people might look at that and be like, why he trying to work with? Because mind you, people be on other teams, people be doing this and that, and I feel like maybe people be like, oh well, we ain't on the team together. Why he trying to write a poem with me? And I'm like, I just liked your art, and I wanted to.
Right.
I just wanted to contribute. I just wanted to. I
didn't even think about it like that. It was like, hey man, we on the other team, man. I can't affiliate with you.
You on the other team. We don't want to.
Wow.
I personally, I just be liking art, and especially I like other people's art. There are so many poets who I would love to collaborate with, like Lady 380, girl, whenever you're ready. Yeah. Love it. Like there are some people who just tell such good stories that you just can't help but to want to be a part of the story. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Hell yeah. Well, all right. Before we get out of here, I like to play a game with everybody. Bring up the night of me. First time being on here. It's a game of choices. Okay. All right. You got 4 options and 4 choices. All right. You ready?
All right.
All right. You got to be one. You got to raise one. You got to sell one and have relations with the other one. Okay.
Okay.
Be one. Raise one of them. Sell one of them. Okay. And the relations with the other. All right. And your options are a mermaid.
Okay.
A mogwai.
Okay.
And that's Gizmo from Gremlins.
Okay.
Okay. A Mexican and a manatee. Mermaid, mogwai, Mexican manatee. Be one, raise one.
Okay. Okay. Be one, raise one.
Yes. Sell one.
Sell one. Okay. I'm selling the
mogwai.
No, I'm selling the mermaid.
The mermaid. You're selling the mermaid.
I'm selling the mermaid because that's automatic cha-ching, baby. That's automatic money.
I got you.
I'm selling the mermaid.
Boom.
I will.
Lucrative.
Oh, I'll raise the Mexican.
Nice. Okay.
With our political climate in today's age, I will raise.
Okay. Hey, help in the community.
I'll raise it. Just in case I'm on Jimmy Fallon one day and they try to bring this up, I will raise.
He was nice about it.
He was nice. It's like Preechkid. What is this? I'm like, I don't know what I don't know. But yeah, I'll raise
selling
them.
mermaids, raising Mexicans.
I'll be the Magua.
Okay.
I'll be
Yeah, that's a safe route. That's a safe route to check.
You know, I don't want to be no mermaid.
No, I get it.
And then what was the last one?
A manatee. You have relations with a manatee. So you're just going to be a Magua.
No. Switch that. I'll be the manatee and I'll have relations with the Magua.
Oh, that's a fun fantasy right
people
there.
Be like, I'm gonna have relations with the mermaid. That's so wild. They're supposed to be like majestic. Like, oh no, actually no, they're evil. They wild. I just
depending
learned,
on which ones you're looking at.
No, which ones they would drag you into the man.
Yeah, all that.
We selling that.
Yeah, the sirens and such. You gotta be careful, depending on which mermaid you don't like. Because Halle Bailey is definitely a mermaid.
Oh, baby.
Jason Momoa's a mermaid as well. If you're looking at it, I mean Aquaman. So it all depends on what type of mermaids you're thinking about. But everybody has their own little fingerprint. Though.
He does live underwater. He does talk to other fishes.
Yes, he does.
Damn, he is a mermaid.
Yeah, he is.
But you just lie. And mind you, I'm a DC and a Marvel fan, so that's a whole nother conversation. But you see that damn. I'm gonna tweet that tonight and act like I came up. And I do it because Preechkid does not plagiarize. Preechkid does not plagiarize. Let's get into that.
Disclaimer.
Preechkid does not play. If Preechkid said
that's good.
Preechkid wrote it. Now if Preechkid sang it, somebody else probably wrote that.
Hey, a cover is a cover, man.
I do be stealing the
We
singing.
love covers.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's good. All right, yes, man. Well, we have been here for a good little minute. Let everybody know where they can follow you, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yes, my name is Preechkid with 2 E's and not an A. So that is Preechkid. You can find me on Instagram at preech.write.sang. That's Preech. .write WRITE.sang, because I be singing sometimes on occasion when my voice work for me. I also on TikTok, Preechkid Network. Get into it. I have an album out called No One Is Coming. That's in the link of all my stuff. I got a show coming that I'm doing, so follow me on Instagram because I'm about to post that. I'm doing a one-man show, poetic show, so if you want to come see a black gay boy cry for 45 minutes and give you the best poetry of your fucking life, come see that. I'm gonna be posting about it. I got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm working on a lot of stuff. I'm actually meeting my idols. I think that's the most funniest, like the most favorite thing right now. I'm meeting my idols and I'm hoping to work with all of my idols, everybody. So Ebony Stewart, that's what I'm putting that plug up. Ebony Stewart, call me. Okay, all
man,
of that. But
that's
I'm everywhere. I be up here. I'm up here next to Jimmy Fallon.
Meeting
Let's
my
go.
idols. Hell yeah.
I'm meeting my idols.
Man, that's
you can't
amazing.
tell Preechkid he ain't doing good. Ebony Stewart told me she loved me.
Come on. Come on.
Timothy
man,
Dwight
you
told
know
me
you're doing something right.
I hug
Keep
Terry
that
on the
pen
table.
moving. Hell yeah, man, you know what this is. Just tell me a joke, the guy out of Chase a Dream. I've been your host, Maniacal, Menace, Cosmic, say the whole thing like a pimp lane slick back. And until next time, man, keep dreaming, jokers. Woo! All right.
And we out.